How to increase sales to new and existing customers in retail. By the end of this video, you're going to know how to increase your sales both to people who know you and, more importantly, get the word out to people who don't know you. Now let's get going. Ready to transform your business? The one thing about attracting customers back to your store means you have to do a great job to begin with. And not just great, like, oh, they were efficient. It has to be exceptional. And when you do that, then what I'm going to teach you now, you can really grow with. You can go through and try to attract customers through discounts and pretty much trash your entire market because you become the discount leader instead of the retail store that's just like me. Find out what that takes in this video. So if you've got a retail store, especially if you just opened, you know that one of the plagues that comes to us is everyone from the neighborhood comes in. Can you support me? Can you give me a $20 gift certificate? Can you give me this? Can you give me, and you've never seen them before, right? That's frustrating for everybody. However, you do want to be in your local business. So what I always say is, you know what? I will go to your event and I will hand the gift certificate to the winner, but I don't just give out a gift certificate. How's that? Now, sometimes people push back, oh, well, we don't work that way, but you want to be visible wherever you can. So if you're doing a community cleanup, if there's some kind of a collecting clothes for, I don't know, homeless or veterans or whatever, you want to show up, not with a press release. You just want to show up, ideally, probably in something that identifies you, but not necessarily because you're a community partner. Here's the secret. You have to tie up that 5 to 7 mile radius around your business. That's it. You don't need to be all over the world and try to compete with Amazon. Just wrap that up. And part of that is going to be, you got to keep your windows fresh and engaging. How many times, especially in new business, do we walk by and the same window has been there for 6, 7 weeks? You know what? That's boring, and that tells me you don't even care. I was in the Hilton, and their gift store had a swimsuit display. And I walked by every day for a week, and it was the same swimsuit. And I thought, who's running this place? Because what they could have done is had a different swimsuit in the morning, a different one at night, could have featured a men's, a kid's, a woman's, and figured out, oh, we attract people by having something new. That's what makes retail great. We answer that question. What's new? When we come into the store, the same with your displays. We lead with the best and brightest. The example I like to use is I'd put a red welcome mat to it, I'd light it up like it was a '59 Chevy with all of the silver and make it really feel special. But a lot of times, we get nervous, don't we? We put the cheapest items in the front, or the last year's, or gosh forbid, don't do this. You pull, as your apparel store, all that merchandise on racks in front of your store. You look like a garage sale. So don't do that. And then look at your social media, because a lot of times we say, oh, we've got an Instagram, we've got TikTok. Yeah, I don't care about that. You know why I don't care about that? Because that information is owned by those companies. All I care about is information that you control. So that means you're going to have to get their name and email address, and ideally even a physical address, because a lot of people miss this, that yes, we do sort the trash, right, when we get the mail, but if there's something handwritten to me, I'm going to open that. And that says you care, and that's part of being the local community. That's what we're talking about here, right? So then what are you going to do with that data is you must have a CRM, that's a customer relationship management program. Could be something like HubSpot or even MailChimp. But you then need to talk to these people. Just because you have it, I can't tell you how many times I go into business and I say, oh, when's the last time you sent a newsletter? We haven't done that in a long time. Why not? Well, we don't have anyone. It seems kind of pushy. And then I'll look at their newsletter, and all it is 25% off, family and friends. You've trashed that relationship. The relationship means I know you so well that this is for you. For example, let's say I was a hardware store and it's April. So I start thinking about, all right, so I'm here in upstate New York. What's the problem in April in upstate New York? Well, the gutters probably are filled with leaves and the snow is gone, but the rain is starting to come over the edges. So what am I going to feature? If I know my market, I'm going to speak to them and say, hey, with last week's rains, you probably realized the drains are clogged. So one, we have a service that'll help you with that. I would always lead with that because that's great. Number two, maybe they have to replace the gutters. Maybe you can give them a 5-point inspection plan that they could go through and look at. Do you follow the idea that I know you so well, I'm showing you that I'm a neighbor? And that makes a really big difference. And then you have to do that regularly, right? So you're not just going to do that, well, we'll do it in April and whenever I think about it. You're going to put it in a calendar and you're going to go through and every month, at least once a month. And then I would actually use something like ChatGPT. I would print it out, I would upload it and say, Could this be better? And you will be shocked at how many tips it will give you. In fact, I used that when I was making this video. As a matter of fact, did I miss anything? And it said, oh, that's right, you missed the CRM because you didn't connect the dots. Perfect. I want you to connect the dots as well. And the other thing to be thinking about is create employee incentives. So yes, we want to attract new people, and yes, we want to bring customers back in, but what are you doing for your crew? Right? When they make a great sale, do they get a piece of the action? Do they commission or bonus? You'd be shocked how many people tell me, no, that's pushy, we don't want to do that. Well, that's fine, but a guy like me will be gone because I did the job. That's what makes a difference. You know, I have a personality quiz you can look for also on this site, and it talks about knowing yourself. But a driver, personality like me, I want the credit. I did it, not a we. And if you put me in a we, it's really hard for me to stand out. I'm not comfortable. So if you give them an incentive to do better, then each time you don't have to worry what your Google reviews are. Oh, and by the way, Google reviews are really great. Now, one thing that was really interesting, one of my clients, she actually has her QR code on her smartphone. And when she finishes with somebody, she's in design, and she'll finish up by saying, did I answer all your questions today? And they're like, oh, yes, you did. And they'll say, you know, I'm not ready to design yet. And she goes, oh, that's fine. Would you mind giving me a Google review? And they're like, no, that's fine. And they pull out, she goes, here, pull out your phone, scan it. And right there, 5-star, she was really great. She has 1,200 reviews. Does that matter? You better believe it. All those AI algorithms are looking at that. But more importantly, real humans look at that as well. Do I want her to fuse and say, oh, it was the best time ever, she helped me find this? Yeah, that would be wonderful. But understand you are thinking strategically that anyone walking in your store is a chance for you to grow that CRM and grow your influence instead of waiting for somebody to walk in. Do you have this widget? No, I'll buy it on Amazon. All that other stuff, right? They're coming in, they want to discover. That's the secret. Look, if I wanted to buy, right, my HP printer broke down, so I need to buy that HP 54 cartridge. If I need that, I probably am ordering it online. I don't need to go into the office supply and ask the person with the scrunchie with the sacred keys to unlock the $30 cartridge and take it out just for me, right? But if you are an office supply, how stupid it would be to assume that's all I'm there for. Because what do I need? Paper? And maybe there's something else to write with or communicate. I look at the bundle they're looking for, and that's probably my last part in this video is to be thinking of is how do you grow that sale when they're there so they remember, oh yeah, I got everything I needed from them. I didn't have to go back to the store. If you were the paint store, they didn't have to go back and say, you know, I forgot to get the masking tape. Well, if you're really doing your job, I want to hold on to my customers, then you thought about that even with a little checklist. And for even more about how to grow your sales to attract them and bring your customers back to the store, I've got another video for you as well, and you can click it right here in the video. If you don't see that, you can click it below, and I will see you right there. Retail Doc out.